We're going to end the stories today with DC because this is another one. We're going to call it a bit of an audible that wasn't on the show notes, and that's fine. Peacemaker season 2. The viewership data has now been revealed. So let's find out if the DCU show was actually a hit. People, there were rumors and other things saying, look, it wasn't. Season 2 viewership data has been revealed. Was it a hit? Viewership data through the series it's become the first DC show on HBO Max to rank on Nielsen's top 10. Can it be considered a success? Peacemaker season 1 was universally loved, launching Chris Smith into mainstream and getting Wigwam's Do You Want to Taste It suck in the heads of millions of people. Unfortunately, the show's 8-episode second season did not necessarily enjoy the same critical reception, though the first episodes were quite warmly received. Reception on the project took a steep decline upon the airing of its finale. Aside from its critical woes, however, it remained to be seen how the show had performed in terms of viewership. Now, thanks to new data, we have an idea. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Peacemaker got a spot on the Nielsen streaming charts. However, the show is said to have barely reached the top 10 of the original series category for the period of October 6th to the 12th. That week, Peacemaker accumulated 398 million minutes of watch time per the Hollywood Reporter. The season 2 finale, which came out October 9th, counted for 42% of total viewership, which translates to roughly 167 million minutes watched. It's important to point out that viewership numbers appeared to be for all 16 of the series, not just season 2. With that, it means the show's remaining 15 episodes received a combined 231 million minutes of watch time during that week. Generalizing the viewership and dividing evenly into 15, we get an approximate 15.4 million minutes of watch time. Again, not counting the finale, keeping in mind, though this might not be an accurate representation of viewing numbers for the series, given that the fluctuation of each episode between season 1, season 2, marks the first time a DC show on HBO has made it to the Nielsen top 10. For context, the DC-based shows include Creature Commandos and Harley Quinn. Is Peacemaker 2 a success? With the information, Peacemaker's second season, is it a success? It's difficult to give a firm answer given how the viewership numbers only cover 1 week. However, there is enough context around the data providing to answer the question with an educated guess. For starters, Peacemaker's numbers were significantly lower than other projects on the chart for the same week of the 6th to the 12th of October. The number 1 spot was claimed for a second week by Netflix's Monster, the Ed Gein story. The show is said to have 51% increase from the week prior, ranking at 2.3 billion minutes of watch time. To provide a full context of Peacemaker's audience size, the rankings are Monster, Love is Blind, Halo, Is It Cake, Tulsa King, Wayward, The Great British Baking Show, Boots, Wednesday, and Peacemaker. Of course, it's important to mention that it does not count watch times on tablets, phones, computers, only on televisions. I mean, that's pretty big. With that said, going only by this data, it would appear that even though Peacemaker had a viewership count moderate enough to appear in the top 10, the series was not necessarily a major hit. And then it goes into it. I think if you're James Gunn, you're disappointed in this. I think because, he talked about this is the greatest thing that he ever did. And he loved it. It was his favorite thing that he ever did. He loved it. If I was in Superman, I would have been pissed off if he said that. But he was like, he's like, yeah, love it. I think it was too gunny, personally, and I think that the first, it's similar to what season 2, Guardians 2 was. He found the balance in Guardians 3, and he had the balance in Guardians 1. He had the balance for me in Superman. Does he look at this, or does he blame it on the audience? What do you think, Chris?
Oh, no, I think he'll take this in stride, honestly. I really do. I think that this is okay, I've got to recalibrate. Not all of this fired for everyone. And just because, and this is something that's very important for creatives and artists as a whole, too. Yeah, make art for yourself. That's fantastic. Do that. But also receive constructive criticism with poise and great understanding. Just because we love something doesn't mean it is the greatest thing we've ever made. And we can have so much fun. Being on a film set is like being at summer camp. You get all these friends for this limited amount of time. You have the best time. But then sometimes those camp stories don't translate to everybody else. They weren't there. They weren't part of the magic of making it. So I hope that he takes these kinds of criticisms and reviews and goes, okay, so should we revisit the actual show and do a season 3? Should we continue on this specific story? Here are some adjustments that we can make so that I'm still really happy with the end product here, because that's the difference too. We are working with a product. We do have executives. We do have numbers to hit. For him to go, okay, I can still have this have the absolute soul and essence of what I want it to be and still love it, but I can streamline this into a way where it's, hey, this is speaking truthfully for these characters. This is what makes sense for the story. This makes sense for the overall DC story that I want to tell.
Right, that's right. That's
and
right.
you can hit all those points.
Yeah. Winston?
I think that Gunn will also I believe he'll take it in stride. I don't think that like you're on a course. I'm sure he heard some of the complaints that people had about the end of the season. I'm sure that, that will kind of ring true. I think that while the first season of Peacemaker did well, it still is a little like outside of the general scope. Superman is Superman. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little easier to do that. And maybe that is why it was so heavy to bring in Lex and everything near the end of it, was because of that. Maybe you were trying to circle people in to check this out. He even was pushing earlier, hey, Superman's dropping on digital early so that you can have that connection with Peacemaker. But, I think while you may be a little disappointed, I don't think it's anything to like get up in arms about one way or the other. I think the more interesting thing is, depending on how the sale goes, is that going to ruin any of your game plan one way or the other? I think.
We're not gonna Peacemaker season 3. There's no way.
No. I don't think that's happening. But I think that the main thing that Gunn is probably paying attention to, other than keep moving until you hear otherwise, is to keep your eye on how or if this sale happens, what is going to be allowed. Like, are you going to be essentially done with, the Brave and the Bold finally? And they're like, nope, sorry, done. We're not doing that. Like, I don't know. That would be the thing, if I'm Gunn, I'm most worried about.
I just think the last thing that I would say about this is that I think that, you also have to, I don't know, put together a plan to, they're gonna hope Supergirl is the hit. Here's the scenario if I'm Gunn, though, that you got to put your ego to the side, right? Because they need Supergirl to be. It would be great if Supergirl was like a big hit. It'd be great. It would be like, okay, that's like, and because Superman, there should be a definitive answer on something. They had to do a whole article of whether or not it was a hit. There's still an article on Superman whether or not it was a hit. Did it lose money? Did it make money? It's both things so far. The big live action things have been, is it a hit or is it a failure? You want a definitive hit. If you're him, you want one. Now, the irony is, if Supergirl is that one, the people will start to say, well, the first one that they get the hit, guess who didn't have anything to do with it directing wise? Does his ego take that? Is he able to take that? And what if Clayface crushes and Lanterns crushes, and then Superman, Man of Tomorrow does okay, right? Then you start to go, and then you start to go, hey, maybe I should just be producing this stuff and maybe not directing as much, or direct something else, or maybe pull back on just making it James Gunnish and make it DC. I don't know, but the opposite could happen. You could have Superman, Man of Tomorrow be the first massive hit because the first one was liked a lot. And then he does it even more, and you're like, no, it worked. It took time to get there.
Which is also fair. I mean, I'm curious, how much do you think that Feige was making tweaks or putting hard lines on stuff with the Guardian series?
I think he had more guardrails, for sure. But I think he clearly has freedom. He had freedom, but he said it a bunch in interviews. There were certain things that he had to do to get to, because they were leading towards Avengers and other things too. So he had to do certain things that maybe he didn't want to do. He's the one who's setting those now. So
that's the only reason why I'm curious.
Yeah, no, it's a good question.
That would probably almost dictate part of what, if the complaint is he's going a little too gunny with things one way or the other, is okay, do we think then that was what stopped it before, or is it just that we're in a place now because he was so hot doing those movies and then got this job that like now it's like, all right, I'm gonna go even bigger? Like which was it an evolution, or has it always been the same and there was maybe something there?
I just don't think there's enough game tape yet, honestly. All right, what do you guys think? What do you make of all of it? Put your thoughts in there about the Peacemaker stuff, about the future of it. We want to know. It's the easiest thing in the world for me to do is talk about how much I love True Classic. I love True Classic. They're just the best. I wear them everywhere. I'm wearing one right now. The guys at True Classic, they started with a simple mission. You bring premium, comfortable clothing to the masses, because looking good and feeling great, it shouldn't come with a designer price tag. And clearly people agree. myself included, with over 25 million shirts sold to 5 million customers, more than 200,000 5-star reviews. True Classic has become a staple in closets everywhere. The brand's not just about fabric or fit. It really is about confidence. I walk into a room and I feel good wearing my True Classic gear. That's what makes True Classic the perfect gift this holiday season. Doesn't matter if you're shopping for your dad, your brother, your partner, and now even women and kids. True Classic has something for everyone. The same premium comfort and perfect fit that build the brand are now available for the whole family. They fit where they should, they feel incredible, and they don't break the bank. Yet, you get the tailored look without sacrificing comfort or blowing the holiday budget. I wear them. I wear jeans, True Classic. I wear shirts, True Classic. I'm getting a hat for myself for Christmas. Skip the guesswork and the overpriced designer stuff. Give comfort, give confidence, give True Classic. You can find them anywhere. You go to Amazon, you go to Target, you go to Costco, you go to Sam's Club. But you got to head on over to trueclassic.com/Kristian to grab the perfect gift for everyone on your list. I promise you, this will be the best gift you give anyone this holiday season.